There are unlimited opportunities to put cash boosts, cash injections, selling sprees into your business, and it doesn't have to be around a specific holiday. And something for everyone to think about is that if everyone else is doing it, we're going to get a little bit lost in the noise. I just want you to empower yourself to pick the time that is best for you, because if you're doing things just because everyone else is doing them, it may lead to being frantic, scattered. It might just be overwhelming. So let's keep it in alignment with what you want to create. How will your clients buy? So you want to think about that, because that will be related to your call to action and any marketing campaigns that you do. If it's a click to buy, then your call to actions will be click here to snag yours now. Or if they need to do a consultation, you can say something like limited to 10 spots only, click here to book your consultation first. Big brands and big retailers use sales and campaigns as a way to get people out from their audience and into a purchasing position. And this is something that a lot of times with service businesses we are missing, because people could come to us tomorrow, next week. They don't really see the reason for a why now. So something like a selling spree is a great way to bring them to that next step in your sales funnel. Hey everyone, welcome again to another one of our fantastic masterclasses. Today we have the Erica Powell, who is an energetic and profitability coach, branding designer, digital marketer, and founder of Erica Powell & Co., the Rich and Joyful Entrepreneur, and the Visionary Club. She has been in the entrepreneurship game for about 15 years now, and as a former platinum event planner and international publisher, her firsthand experience attracting and closing high-end clients gives her clarity about what consumers in the luxury market are looking for in a brand identity and messaging, web presence, and client experience. I'm sure all of us cannot wait for her to share her expertise about her selling sprees. Let's give a warm welcome to the wonderful Erica Powell. Thank you, my friend. I love it so much. Awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. I think that what we need to remember as entrepreneurs is that there are unlimited opportunities to put cash boosts, cash injections, selling sprees into your business, and it doesn't have to be around a specific holiday. And something for everyone to think about is that if everyone else is doing it, we're going to get a little bit lost in the noise. I also realized how busy inboxes are around those times. And it's also a time where if people are getting flooded with a lot of offers, a lot of emails, they may end up unsubscribing from your email list, or it might just be like another offer that sort of drowns in a sea of others. So what I would recommend to you is to be intentional about when you want to do something like a selling spree, why you want to do something like a selling spree. We're going to go into details today. This can be done anytime. It can be done tomorrow. It can be done a month from now. I just want you to empower yourself to pick the time that is best for you, because if you're doing things just because everyone else is doing them, it may lead to being frantic, scattered. It might just be overwhelming. So let's keep it in alignment with what you want to create. So why selling sprees? Selling sprees have been a huge part of our business in the last couple years. A lot of coaches call them launches. I actually don't love the word launch for the same reason as like a Black Friday sale. I realize that what's going into something like a launch or a Black Friday offer is this is a campaign that we're creating. This is something that we're intentionally putting out there. We're deciding that we want to sell something on purpose. We're building a strategy around it. We're putting a marketing plan around it. And in that way, it is very much a launch. But I prefer to think of it as a selling spree. Just energetically, it's a lot more fun. So for us, we have done anything from 20,000 in sales for a day up to 253,000 in sales for a 2-week period using selling sprees. And this is usually something that our team takes the time to plan out, think about, go deep as far as creating our offers, creating our strategy and things like that. So I'm going to break down how we do it today. And then the last thing I want you guys to think about is that this is a really great way to have a cash injection strategy for your business. It's a way to bring in new clients or bring back inquiries, maybe that inquired and never took action. It's also a really great way to get a warm audience to move forward with you. So there are people watching you right now that might be following you on social. They could be in your email list. Maybe they haven't taken an action yet. This is the perfect way to get people out of the woodwork and into a why now situation. Big box stores, like big brands and big retailers use sales and campaigns as a way to get people out from their audience and into a purchasing position. So this is something that I would love for everyone to just think about. If you get, say, an email from Nordstrom and now we're releasing the spring line or the fall line, or there is a last chance sale, these are all designed to get people to take action. These are specifically put together campaigns that are designed to get people into the why now mindset. And this is something that a lot of times with service businesses, we are missing because people could come to us tomorrow, next week. They don't really see the reason for a why now. So something like a selling spree is a great way to take them from looker to purchaser, to give them a buying experience, to bring them to that next step in your sales funnel. So let's talk a little bit about some of the key secrets behind selling sprees. As we're walking through, I want you guys to think about how could this work for my business? What could I do to help people want to take the next step? And I want you to start thinking about what I'm saying and interpret it for your business so that when you're asking questions, you're asking about your business specifically and how you can use what we're talking about today. The first step of any type of selling spree or campaign is going to be unlocking the why. So there's two different whys in any selling spree. There's a why for you, and then there's a why for your audience. And these may be the same or they might not be the same, just depending. This is something that obviously you don't necessarily need to share with your audience, but if it's something that might make sense to your audience, like you wanted to do a fundraiser, or there's a personal reason that you feel like adds an element of excitement to it, like you just got a new house and you want to celebrate, or it's a holiday or something like that. Of course, if your why is client facing and it makes sense for a client to understand, it would be totally fine for you to share it. But maybe the why is more personal. And so maybe it's something like you need a cash injection for your business right now. Or maybe you just want a Q4 boost. Or maybe you want to grow your business. Or maybe you want to bring in more aligned clients. And so sometimes there's a personal reason that the clients don't necessarily need to know about. It's just for you. I would say just go ahead and write down your why now and why this, okay? That would be step number one. And then related to that, why for your clients. Now, this is going to be different. So this is where I always say, like, put your client goggles on or think from a client glasses perspective. This is something that I love to do that I think our clients love when I do for them. But what you want to think about is why is my client interested in this and why now for them? Now, this is going to be the primary reason that you're sharing, like throughout any promotional campaigns on any social posts in your email is the why now for your clients. So for example, if I'm going to do a promo or a special bonus around branding and website as like a Q4 bonus, I might say something like, so many of our clients reach out to us wanting a major up level in their business right before the new year. So we beat you to it. We created this special offer and we just know you're going to love it. I'm not saying because I want an income boost. I'm saying because we know that this time of year, there are so many people that are interested in having a major up level or up leveling their brand prior to the following year. So let's jump into secret number 2. So this part is really important. In fact, I think this is the most important part of having a selling spree. And that is creating your offers themselves, the pricing, and what bonuses might be related to those offers that are available only now during this time. So if you think about going into, say, Nordstrom on the holidays, you're going to buy your makeup and you know you're going to get a gift with purchase. And so you're going to go all out. And that's why you're going to buy that $250 in makeup at that time, because you know you're going to get something special. Going back to our branding and website design offer, if we were creating an end of the year special for clients, maybe we would give away something extra, like you also get your social media covers and your profile photo or your logo up-leveled or any of those pieces, or maybe we add in some social media templates and it's only available during that time. So what you want to think about when you're creating your offers and your bonuses, will your offers be the same as they usually are, or will they be different than normal? Maybe there's something that you include that is maybe a little bit less than you normally do to accommodate for the fact that the price is lower, but maybe your clients don't know that. Like, I'll just use web design as an example because it's something that we do. Maybe we take out some of the bells and whistles from that collection because we know that people are going to be happy with a brand new website and they're not going to care about all these extra details. Maybe that becomes an upgrade for them that they can choose to add on if they want to. But we keep it real bare bones so that we can have a profitable price even at a reduced rate. And then we'll know that some of our clients will want to upgrade and add more, and some of them won't necessarily want to, and that's totally fine. So what would make them different, or are they the same? Or what kind of value adds can you pop into your offer this time of year? Are there any upgrades that maybe you don't usually include? Are there any bonuses? These are just things that you want to think about when you're pulling this all together. Then the next thing you want to do is really clearly outline your entire offer. Now, I often have service entrepreneurs saying, what is an offer? Because this is a word that we use in the coaching industry a lot, but not so much in the services space. What an offer is like a list of your services. So something just to look at here. This is our collections brochure for our 2024 offers. And what I want you to see is that a service is a collection, right? A collection of services, something that you've thought about that includes some deliverables. It shares your process a bit. There's a price attached to it, just to give you an idea. So usually when I'm creating an offer, I will think about, okay, what's included in this from start to finish? And a lot of things that people usually skip are the experience embedded in the service. So when you're thinking about creating an offer for a service, you want to think, okay, what is my process from start to finish? So here you'll see we have onboarding, the design process, like how do we do this type of work for a designer done for you brand? What's included? Are there rounds of design? What are the deliverables that a client gets? And then who is this collection perfect for? So if we have more than one offer, we'll know which one is the right fit for which person. Okay, just to give you an idea. So just because it's a service doesn't mean that you can't have an offer. If it were a coaching offer, it would be similarly done. We would think about, okay, what's included? Is there an onboarding? Is there a process? Is there a promise? Is there something that someone can expect to get from this experience? And then who is it perfect for? To me, that is a good offer. And then beyond that, it also may have a value attached to all of those little pieces. When we outline things in that way, we are also able to attach a value to each one of those little bullet points or each one of those little sections within our offer. In that way, we can show a total value. So that's something that a lot of clients ask me, like, how do you come up with the value? How do I know how much this is worth? And what I would say is make sure you outline it clearly and then you understand all the pieces that are going into it. Just imagine if you were to sell each of those inclusions separately, what could you sell them for, or what would they be priced at? And then you can add up all of those pieces or those titles with their value on them into a total value for that collection. We have some clients that like to have a value, some clients that don't like to have a value. At the end of the day, that's a personal choice. I empower you to choose whichever you want. But at the end of the day, it's what feels good to you and what sort of anchors the value of that experience. Now, if you have very competitive competitors and maybe their prices are going to be lower than yours, sometimes having a value or showing where value is can really help a client to understand the total value of your offer. So that's something to think about. And if you're able to add a value, especially if this is something that's new for you, I would recommend adding value. Then you want to think, what is the price? Is it different than normal, less than normal? Is there some kind of special that is included in this why now offer? Is there a payment plan? Is there a paid in full option? So usually what I like to do is the payment plan makes it so that anyone can take advantage of this offer if they're so inclined and if they find value in it. But usually what I like to do is I put the paid in full pricing first on this offer. Let's say I was going to do a special branding and website design offer where it was our platinum branding collection and our signature designer website. I would come up with a price that I wanted for the entire collection. I would make it a bit lower than normal. And again, I would always look like, am I going to pull something out of this to accommodate for the price being lower and maybe add it as an optional upgrade? And then what I would usually do is take that paid in full price times 1.1 or times 1.2. Then looking at whatever that total is, I'll know that this is 10 or 20% higher than the paid in full price. And then I would turn that into payments. So let's just pretend for a minute that this special offer was $9,997. So I'm just pulling a random number just for the sake of doing math. My paid in full price would be $9,997 times 1.1. That would add 10%. So it adds about $1,000 to it. And then if it's a $10,000 product, I might give the option between 6 payments or 8 payments just to allow our clients to spread it out. So let's say 8 payments, and I round numbers a little bit. 8 payments of $1,375. So that would come out to $11,000 with payments, or if they did paid in full, it would be $9,997. So they would be saving $1,003 if they do the paid in full option. So on my offer page, I would also show them the special pricing. So like maybe that $9,997 is usually an $11,997. And so they see that it's usually more. So that solidifies the value. Or just the value itself without the normal price can also solidify the price. So there's 2 different ways to do that. And notice, by the way, that I did paid in full first and then added on for the payment plan. I think that's really important. If we just do what our payment plan we want it to be and then subtract 10 or 20%, then we're actually losing a ton if people are going with the paid in full. So I always recommend choosing what you want your paid in full to be first and then deciding on the payment plan. So let's say we get to that point, we have the paid in full option and say it's normally $2,000 more. I have found that a lot of clients will actually, if it's 15 to 20% more for the payment plan, clients who want those extra savings will actually opt for the paid in full pricing. So that's how a lot of the times that we run selling sprees, we'll have clients that are paying us $10,000, $20,000 paid in full, as well as some of our other clients have done the same. So we've had our clients have like a $50K cash month where they've sold 5 different collections and they've collected them all in cash upfront. For us, we usually get about, I'm going to say 20 to 30% of our clients pay in full, and then the rest of them choose the payment plans. And I know that I particularly love a combo of both because I like to have some cash in the door as well as some recurring payments coming beyond that to give our company stability. So just to show you how that can lay out, if your payment price is closer to the 20% higher, you'll get more paid in full. If your paid in full amount is closer to the 10% higher for the payment plan, then you'll get more people choosing the payment plan. The larger the savings, the more likely they are to do paid in full. And again, for us, I like a combo of both. So I usually go somewhere in the middle, just knowing that if the paid in full is right for someone, that they will choose that. Okay. And I leave that up to them. And it's totally up to you how you want to do it. Okay. So the other question that you might want to think about is if you have more than one option. So this I would not recommend if you are new to a selling spree. If this is the first time you're running a selling spree, I would not recommend focusing on more than one product or service. Sometimes people are going to a consultation first and I'm giving them options. So in that case, maybe you can have several different options. For example, I had a consultation with a client and I gave her probably 4 different options to choose from. And she chose one that was right in the middle, and it was exactly the one that I wanted her to choose. So I showed her one that was on the less pricey side, one that was one step up from that,
one that was in the middle, but it was exactly what I wanted her to grab, and one that was a bit higher than I thought she would take. And she ended up taking the one that I actually thought was best for her business, and I was super excited about that. But that would be challenging to do without a consultation, and it would be challenging to do if this is your first selling spree. But if you've done this before, and this is not your first time, and you want to offer several options, another thing that you can do is maybe give 2 or 3 options and then have a bundle of all of them that's like an extra savings, and that people are able to get that extra savings. After you create your offer, what you also want to do is think of a cute name that might relate to the time of year or the offer that you're creating. So I just pulled some of mine so you guys could hear how they sound fun and how it sounds like something that somebody would want. So for example, some of our past selling spree offers were cash flow catalyst, profit by design, selling sprees could be a name of one, the designer branding bundle, brand like a boss boot camp, books like a boss boot camp. And so there are ways to come up with a name that sounds like a thing that people want. So I would encourage you to think about it from the client perspective. And let's say you are a coach and you are wanting to teach someone how to inject more cash into their month or to have a selling spree. Think about something that sounds like a name that people want, and they'll be more likely to want to hear about it, know about it, buy it, all of the things. Then one of my tricks for that is alliteration. So using words that sound like they start with the same letter. So cash flow catalyst are 2 C's, or selling sprees is 2 S's, or the designer branding bundle, those are 2 B's. And so it just sounds like official. Another thing you can do is add a the on the front of it, which also makes it sound official. And then if you are not the best at naming, I would highly recommend using something like ChatGPT or an AI for naming that can help you come up with something. And you could say something like, name a product for entrepreneurs that want to add cash flow to their business, or name a brand and website bundle for entrepreneurs in the Christmas season, okay? And you will get options from that. And if you don't like the first option that the AI software spits out, then just put more and then hit enter, and it will just give you more. So we actually have a client that I love so much. Her name is Julie, and she is a makeup artist. And she actually used this concept really effectively for an entire year. And she did a selling spree every single month. With her hair and makeup, what she would do was she would create a bonus every single month. And that would be her lead magnet, or the reason why someone would go and work with her now, or why they'd inquire now. Maybe they had inquired before in the past, but they didn't move forward. So every single month, and we were doing private coaching together at this time, so we worked on this together. Every month we would think of an angle for her whole selling spree. For example, like in March, we had a Lucky in Love that was related to St. Patrick's Day. And the Lucky in Love special had things in it that were related to like lucky. I think she had something like a 6 pence for your shoe, things like that. And so just think something borrowed, something blue, because she was doing wedding hair and makeup. So just think about that. And could that name be tied to the season? Could it be tied to a holiday? Could it be tied to something that you know somebody wants that time of year? And that is a really good way to create something that is like buyable or that somebody wants. If you're the kind of person that is just doing this for your own list and you're doing it for your own Instagram, and if somebody else has already used this name for a program or a book or anything like that, you should be fine, especially if it's like a short-term thing and you're going to be maybe doing something else again in the future. But if you're ever in doubt and you just want to make sure that your idea is unique or original, I recommend just searching for the name in Google. Let's say this is a signature program or something that you want to run all the time. Do a search of that name in Google, do it on Facebook, and do it on Instagram. And just try to pick something that no one else has really done before, or add your own spin to it, so that way you're not in the place of doing something that someone else has done. If you're just doing a quick sale and it's just to your own list and no one else is going to see it, not that much of an issue. So the other thing you want to think about related to the pricing and the buying process is, how will your clients buy? So this is all in the coming up with the selling spree in the first place and figuring it all out. How will your clients buy? Is it something that they can just click a link and check out and buy it? Or is it something that they need a consultation first in order to move forward? So you want to think about that, because that will be related to your call to action and any marketing campaigns that you do. If it's a click to buy, then your call to actions will be click here to snag yours now, or whatever version of that you want to do. Or if they need to do a consultation, you can say something like limited to 10 spots only, click here to book your consultation first, something like that. And then, like I said before, if this is your first time doing a selling spree, do one signature offer. Now, can it be your normal signature offer that you always have? For example, let's say you're a wedding planner or a venue, and it's your signature offer is wedding planning service or venue rental. Can it be your regular offer? Absolutely. Can you change what's included in it, add a bonus, an upgrade, or something like that in order to make it stand out for any of the months that you're wanting to do this? 100%. So just keep that in mind, because I know with service entrepreneurs are like, what am I going to create? So like you could do something, going back to the Lucky in Love example, let's say you are a wedding planner, you could do something like Lucky in Love, full service wedding planning collection, and the bonus for that month is blah, blah, and blah. And you also want to put a value on your bonus as well before we move into timing. Just think about that. So let's say somebody is doing the Lucky in Love wedding planning collection. Maybe your bonus is a custom ring box and custom vow books and a special purse. And maybe these are all bundled together. Maybe there's an additional design consultation that you don't usually have. Maybe all of these things bundled together are $1,500. And that is why their why now is different from like any other time or any other month. Okay, so you can think about that. And yes, of course, you can bump up your pricing to accommodate for the price of the bonus just a little bit. And then you also want to think about, when is that offer over? So we're going to go into marketing next, and we're going to talk about timing. And this is a great transition into that. So what are we offering? What's included? What's the pricing? What are the bonuses? Who's it perfect for? That all goes into sort of packaging up the offer that you're going to be offering during your selling spree. And then we're going to move now into timing. So what you want to think about is, when will this campaign start? When will your audience first hear about this? When will the campaign be over? And when are you going to do this? Are you going to do this just one time a year? Are you going to commit to doing this monthly or quarterly? How are you going to structure this for your own business? To use Julie as an example, when we were doing her monthly promotions, she would do a post on Instagram talking about the bonus. And then once that campaign was over, she would actually delete that post so that no one could go back and see, oh, what was last month's offer or what was last month's bonus? And so that they weren't always waiting for the next one and they didn't know when the next one was going to come. So just a little tip for you. If you're doing monthly, you can always erase like any trail or any evidence. You can't probably erase an email, right? If you sent it to them, if they still have it and they reference it back, one thing you could always say is like, that was last month's special. We have a different one this month. Would you like to hear about it? And just move forward. So as far as like tuning into your timing, that would be secret number 3. When will this campaign start? When will it be over? How often are we going to do this? Just one time, monthly, quarterly? What are we going to do? And what I really recommend doing when it comes to putting together a selling spree is make sure that you actually plan this out on paper. When does it start? When does it end? When are our promotions starting? All of these pieces so that you know when everything is happening, because any good marketer will know that the devil is in the details. And if we're not paying attention to timing, things can get messy really quickly. So personally, if I'm doing a selling spree, I would usually recommend having a campaign window of an active campaign going where someone can purchase something, purchase an offer, have a bonus of about 2 weeks, period. That's it. I would not go shorter for most of you, especially if this is something that you're just trying for the first time. Shorter can be tough because someone might, be on vacation and then they come back on Monday and they're like, I missed it. And so I would give it like a good 2-week window so that people can have time to see it, hear it, experience it, think about it with all the things we're going to talk about next in the land of promotions. We can guide them through that process, and it's not over so fast that you feel like you didn't get anything out of it. So I would recommend having a total campaign period of this selling spree of 2 weeks. But I would also recommend having 1 or 2 weeks before that to plan everything. So if you are going to start planning a selling spree today, if you're brand new and you've never done this before, I would like for you to give yourself 2 weeks to plan this out, to think about what your offer is, to think about your pricing, to think about your bonuses, to think about what your angle is, your why, all of these things. And also start thinking about all of the things that we're going to talk about next, which is the promotions. All of this work needs to be done before we go live with our offer. So it's important to think about that when we're thinking about tuning into timing. So now let's go into secret number 4. Now we're going to plan our promotions. So this is what I would recommend, doing all of the stuff we just talked about, plus this step in the time before you actually go live on this offer or go live on this promotion. So if you're new and you're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot and it's going to take me some time to really think about this, then I would give yourself 30 days, right? Like you don't need to only give yourself 2 weeks. Give yourself a little bit of space and just know that after you do the first one, you will have essentially a template. Like, how are we going to talk about this on social? Are we going to do any emails? What does that email sequence look like? So you'll have a template for the next time. So the second time you do it, it will be easier. Now, this is another very crucial step. Also very detailed. It's as detailed and as important as creating your offer and creating your bonuses and creating your prices and all of those things. So planning your promotions, the reason why we want to take our time with this is that we're going to be layering several types of marketing together. Now, what kinds of marketing can we use? We can do email sequences. We can do scheduled social media posts. We can do lives. We can do stories. We can do reels or videos to promote that explain the offer. Or we can do personal and direct reach out specifically to clients that maybe you worked with before or who inquired before and didn't move forward. Do you need to do all of them? 100% you do not. If you're doing personal and direct reach outs, you don't have to do any of the other ones if you don't want to. That in and of itself is probably the most powerful way to cut through noise. If we're doing email sequences, we have to understand that people are seeing a lot of emails in their inbox, and so there's a lot of noise there. But if we're doing direct reach outs, it's either a personal email or a DM to someone you've already talked to and you already know, or a text, it's going to be a lot more personal. And so it's going to cut through the noise a lot quicker. What you want to think about is, what pieces do you know you want to use, or what are like your superpowers when it comes to marketing? Do you love doing emails? Do you love doing social posts? Do you love going live? Do you love doing reels? Do you like doing stories? And if you don't like doing any of them, direct reach outs are the best way to go. So as we're planning promotions, what I want you to think about is a layering effect. And I'm going to use one example about the direct reach outs just because I think it's important, especially for people who don't want to do all of the marketing stuff and they're like, how do I just make it simple? Example, when we launch our retreats, okay, so that would be like a selling spree or a campaign related to something that we're launching. We have found that we can do email sequences, we can do scheduled social media posts, we can do lives and stories, we can do all of these things. And 9 times out of 10, when we text someone to see if they've heard about the retreat, 9 times out of 10, they say, oh my gosh, when is it? And I'm like, really? You haven't seen the 17 posts that we put out last week about this, or you haven't seen the emails in your inbox. And so I just want you to know, for example, in our world, with something like that, we have had an insane, I would say, turnover or like success rate when it comes to personal and direct reach out. So if you're not a person that wants to do all the marketing, that's okay. If you want to do the layered marketing and you want to go through everything I'm about to talk about, just know that your results can and will be greater, because as you're layering all of these pieces of marketing in, people are going to be seeing it in their email. They're going to see it on their social media. They're going to see it on Facebook. They're going to see it on Instagram. And what I call that is like the everywhere AF kind of effect, where there's no way to ignore the fact that you have something going on and it's going on right now. So if they happen to see something pop up on Instagram and then they see something in their email and you send them a text and you say, hey, Larissa, did you see that we just launched the retreat? We thought you would really love this one. Do you want to take a look? They're going to say, oh my gosh, I saw it, but I have no idea when it was. When is it? And so it just solidifies in their mind. It's a layer. It's happening. They've seen it. There's no way to ignore it at this point. So if you want to stick with only one, just do the direct reach outs. If you want to do the whole layering that I'm about to talk about, more power to you. I will walk you right through. So let's talk about if you decide you want to do an email sequence. Now, what is an email sequence? An email sequence in the world of digital marketing is where we have a series of emails that are designed at the same time and written in a way that it flows and it takes the client on a journey. This does not have to be difficult. A lot of people think that this is so difficult and it sounds like a lot of work, but honestly, you take a Google Doc and you think about these types of touch points that I'm going to share with you now. Now, if you were new at doing an email sequence, let me explain why you might want one. So most of the time, people are attuned to ignore a lot of the emails they get. A lot of the marketing emails or a lot of the opportunities that come into their inbox, they kind of ignore. If we know that something big is going on, this is a big deal to us, and also it's an incredible value to our clients, we sometimes have to put ourselves in the position to share that opportunity more than once, understanding that people are busy, understanding that they're distracted, understanding that they may have ignored it the first 3 times. And then finally, when they see the 4th email pop by, they might be like, oh, what is Erica doing now? Let me click it. Okay. So as far as an email sequence goes, you can use a software like MailChimp. Julie, when she was doing her campaigns, she used her CRM in HoneyBook and sent it to all of her contacts in HoneyBook. We use Entreport. It's like a marketing software. There are so many others. I think MailChimp has a free option. So if you're in need, that would be a great place to start. And what you want to think about is this is a journey. 6 emails for the very starter level email sequence. Okay, the first one is the teaser. Do not underestimate the power of the teaser. And in a title for a teaser, it could be something like, something new is coming on Monday. And then maybe your subtitle that you can also see is, you don't want to miss it, okay? Then they're going to be like, what the heck is it? Now I have to open it and see what it's about. Now, what do we do with the teaser email? This is where we share like, something new and incredible is coming to your inbox on Monday. We've been working on this for the last month. Our team is so excited to bring this to you. We cannot wait for you to see it. And the reason we created this, and this is where you share the why that we talked about in the beginning, because we know that so many of our clients ask us for blah, blah, and blah this time of year. So we beat you to it. Stay tuned and don't miss our email on Monday. We did not say what it was. We did not share any details. We did not say any pricing. It's just a teaser. You would be surprised at how many opens this email gets. In our email sequences, this one usually gets the most, and then this next email gets the second most, and then the last 2 emails get the rest of the most. And then there are people that just open throughout the middle. But the first and the end ones usually get the most attention. So I would send a teaser out on Friday. Next email I would do on Monday could be the big reveal. So we could use the name. So let's say I was launching Cash Flow Catalyst in my selling spree. I could say something like Cash Flow Catalyst Unlocked or something like that. Or our newest wedding planning collection unveiled, right? So just to give you an idea, like they know that something is in there, they know it's new, and they know they want to click in order to see it. I know if anyone follows Aloe Yoga, oh my gosh, don't even start me with your marketing emails. Every time they come out with, I feel like it's every month, there's like a color of the month, and I always want to see it. And so they'll come up with something like the newest plum or something like that for December. And you're like, well, now I need to see it, right? So it's a great way to get people in there. So what happens in the big reveal email? This is where we talk about all of the details, what's included, what's special, what's different, is there a bonus? And you don't need to outline it like super in detail, but you can give an overview. So if I was doing Cash Flow Catalyst, I could say something like, Cash Flow Catalyst is the newest coaching program our team of coaches has put it together to give you the cash boost you need in Q4 of 2023. Okay? Bam. Click here to see the details, and then that might go to the page. So when we're thinking about this, it's like, what can we share that is the promise of the offer or the reason of the offer? What is the one thing that people need to know in order to want it? So cash flow catalyst, we want a cash injection for Q4. If someone's interested in a cash injection for Q4, they're going to be clicking that link. Hopefully that makes it super interesting and simple at the same time. So then the next email I usually send is something like, I'm so excited, people are loving this. So in this email, it could be something like, you won't believe what we've been hearing. And anytime you pick a title for an email, what you want to think about is that title is 100% responsible. It's the clickbait. The title is the reason why someone's going to click in and look at the email. You will not believe what's going on right now. Something like that. They're like, what is it? I need to go in and look. I've even said things like, in case you've been buried under a rock this week, totally booked with work and you haven't seen your email. Did you miss on Monday our big announcement? We've had so many people get so excited about what we're doing right now. We've had people popping in. They're really excited to start doing this with us, whatever that offer is. People are loving this, right? Is the sort of framework of that email. Don't forget to take advantage of this special while we're running it. It's only going on for another however many days. So the first one, the teaser, was a Friday. Big reveal would be on a Monday. I would put the so excited people are loving it like on a Thursday-ish of that following week. Now we're on to, say, the following Monday now. So now we're on to, you've got questions, I've got answers. This is the title of the email. This is what I always use. People are usually like, what the heck is that? Like, I need to look in there and see, why is she answering questions that I have? And also, how does she know I have questions? So this is where I say something like, we were so excited to launch this cash flow catalyst. We hope that you've had time to take a look at it. We've had a lot of questions coming in from a bunch of different entrepreneurs all over the country. And so I pulled together this list of questions and answers so that you may have an answer in case you're wondering the same thing. So basically, we're doing this as a service. We're putting together all the questions and answers that they might have in order to decide whether this offer is for them. And we're just proactively sending it out. So that's where I would think of, okay, what would someone need to know in order to buy this thing? What would they need to know whether this is for them or not? Why is now a good time for them to get this? And those are the types of questions that I would answer in the You've Got Questions, I've Got Answers email. Okay, now we're on to Wednesday of that week number 2. You can do this on Thursday. You can do this on Friday. You can change the timing of the emails. It's really up to you how you do it. You could just end your selling spree on a Wednesday or a Thursday. It's up to you how you want to do it. Usually I send last chance twice on the last day. So usually my first last chance is the morning of the last chance day. So this is usually something that I call future pacing, where I think, okay, what if somebody buys this thing? What is life going to look like for them a year from now? What's going to be different for them if they decide they want this, right? If they opt into this, if they buy this now, what's going to be different? For example, if we go back to the cash flow catalyst, maybe it's not a year from now. Maybe it's a month from now. And I'm talking about, is cash flow catalyst for you? Today's the last day to decide. We're closing enrollment by the end of the day. And then I'll say something like, what if you clicked the link and jumped into this program with us? And maybe sometimes I'll reference like, for less than your last binge shopping trip to Target, and I make it sound like small or whatever. What if 30 days from now you were celebrating having an extra $15,000 or $20,000 in your bank account? How would that feel? Would it make it worth it for you to jump in now, to just think about a month from now if everything is different and you have more cash? How would that change your business? And you can leave it a bit like open. You don't have to give examples of how they would feel or whatever, but the what if, and allowing their brain to fill in the blanks. And then you can say something like, we really hope to see you. And if this is like they need to schedule a consultation, we really hope to see your consultation coming in today. We can't wait to chat. Or we really hope to see you inside of Cash Flow Catalyst. We can't wait to see you there. That kind of thing. And then the link to join. Now, last chance, number 2, is the same day, usually in the evening. I borrowed this from marketer. Her name is Julie Stowen. She's one of the members of Funnel Gorgeous. I got this email one time and I was like, that's it for me for the rest of my life. Every single one of my last chance emails is going to be this. Okay. So she's fantastic. She teaches marketing. And if you haven't checked her out, definitely check her out. But hers was, this is not your last chance. I'm like, what? She just said earlier, it's my last chance, right? So then inside of this email, it's this is not your last chance. And then maybe your subtitle that they can also read before they enter the email is, but you don't want to miss this. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to click in here to see what's going on. This is where we say something like, this is not your last chance to buy a website from us. Well, you can come to us anytime. However, this is your last chance to get it with the bonus bundle for February. And we know you're just going to love this bundle. Then we run through all of the reasons of why now, what makes it different. And then we go back to the call to action. We really hope to see you schedule your consult today. Today is your last day to schedule consultations for this special, or today's the last day to purchase this bundle. Click here. So now this is the best part. If you decide you want to do an email sequence, then you essentially have a whole bunch of fuel at your fingertips to go and take some of that information, repurpose the content, make it into posts, schedule it into your social media. You'll know what to say if you want to do a live on each of those days that you're sending out those emails. You just talk about the same thing in the email that you already wrote. So that's why I would always say if you're going to do an email sequence, write it first, and then you can repurpose all that content and everything you wrote in different ways. So now layering in social posts, reels, live, stories, anything like that. On top of that, you can start to echo what you planned out in that original email sequence. You can follow the same sequence and just do it in a series of lives on Facebook or on Instagram. You can take, for each one of those emails, you can make it into a reel, right? And cover the same stuff. When people are super advanced in marketing, they make all kinds of crazy creative stuff, right? Some of my friends will do some kind of trailer and it will be amazing and you'll just want to buy the thing just because of the trailer video that they made. All of these things. So what you want to think about, though, is if you want to keep it simple, you can just echo whatever you had in your email sequence into your social media post. So now the other thing we want to think about in other social media posts, or if you're going live, is where are people right now? Where are your clients? Are they really busy at work? Do they even know that they need your offer yet? Maybe if I'm doing a website and branding special, but they're still in a busy season and they're not quite on the way out of it yet, we need to start with talking about their busy season. And if they want to have different, better, up-leveled clients for next year, that now is the time, right? So with any other post that we do be above and beyond anything that echoes the email sequence, and again, this is all optional, you want to think about where are people now and what are the sort of aha moments they need to have in order to think that your offer is relevant. What are they experiencing? If they didn't know they needed it, then how would we present that solution to them? Let's say it's branding and website design. I might say something like, are you really craving having next level clients for your next season? Do you really want to work with clients who are more aligned, who you enjoy working with, who value you, who you can't wait to see on a consultation call? If so, it might be time for a new website. So I'm attaching their desires to, and if so, here's this offer, right? Now, they might be having all of those desires and they might not attach that to a new brand or website, right? So it's my job as a marketer, as an educator, as a business owner to show them if this is what you want, here's the solution. If you think of a makeup ad or a skincare ad and they say, do you want a smoother forehead or do you want your makeup to lay more evenly on your face? Then here's the product, right? So they talk about the desire and then they share the product. So I will just say this. There are a lot of marketers out there that use pain points. I am against them for the most part at this stage in my life. I have used them before. I have tried them before. I would rather every single time to say something like, are you craving? Do you wish you had? Because I have found that when I'm talking to a positive desire, that I'm attracting someone who is positive and desiring versus someone who is complaining and negative, if that makes sense. So just in terms of finding the right balance or alignment with marketing, and because I like to attract people who are in line with the type of people I want to serve, I would much rather focus on desire rather than pain points in marketing. And then the other thing you can think about is, let's say there was parts of those Q&A posts. For example, one of my friends and one of my coaches, Mary Morgan, she'll say stuff like, think you don't need another course. And then she'll have a slider that goes through it and talk about how people say they think they don't need another course because, and then she'll say the reason, and then she'll say, but what if? What if that was actually the fastest path to your success? And so she takes the sort of objection and she talks about it through a post to do an aha moment for people who are in her audience. So that's something else you can think about, is layering those Q&A pieces. If you know there's a specific objection or some reason why someone might not come in now or might not want something now, that's a perfect thing to talk about in a post on social media. Okay, I think for this one, what I was talking about here is if you have any old posts that you love that sort of relate to this new topic, or it's something you've talked about before, you can always bring those back and layer those in as well. So that's the sort of layering in of all the promotional pieces. And then, of course, on top of that layer is the direct reach out. So as we talked about in the planning and the timing phase, I would definitely plan and time all of your social media posts, all of your emails, and anything that you know is going out on a certain day or at a certain time. I would just go ahead and create all of that content. And I always decide I do not actually start the campaign until all of that is scheduled in. Because if I start running that campaign and that is not scheduled in, then I am just chasing the rabbit and like trying to catch up and trying to get things done throughout that whole campaign. And it is just a game of catch up. And I don't feel like I'm in power when I'm doing that, especially if it's your first time. You might want to have all of this put together and decide when the timing is, then pop it into all of your different platforms on social media and then move forward. Now, once that all is running and you say you're in your campaign window when this is happening, you've already scheduled that all in. Then once that all is running, that's when you start to do your direct reach outs. That's when you reach out and say, hey, Larissa, did you see that our new retreat just launched? I thought that you would love it, right? And then she might say, no, I didn't see it. What's it about? When is it? And that's when I would just fill her in. So usually I use a question during the direct reach out. Hey, Julie, did you see that we just launched Cashflow Catalyst? Is it something you would like to hear more about? I assume that there's a chance that they may have seen it. And I also realize that if I ask a question and they haven't seen it, now they're going to be intrigued, right? So I don't give them like a whole bunch of stuff and say, hey, Larissa, did you see that our retreat just launched? And it includes blah, 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 blah. Because now she's like marketing text, right? That's already, she's like, I'm done with this. I don't want to hear about this. But if I say, hey, Larissa, new retreat just launched. I thought you would love it. It's all about like maybe one thing, profit and freedom as an entrepreneur. Do you want to hear more about it? Then it gives her the opportunity to say, yes, I want to hear more about it. Then I can share more with her. I can send her a link if something is on a page. I can tell her details, or I can just give her a quick description, like a 1 or 2 sentence description, and then ask her if she wants to hear more about the pricing and then go for that. Okay, so DMs are fantastic. Could be a text, could be a DM on Instagram, could be a DM on Facebook. Usually these are people who you've either talked to before in the past, you have a relationship with. They're your clients, they're legacy clients. Maybe they've purchased a bunch of things from you in the past, or maybe they were an inquiry that inquired, you had a consultation with, you did a proposal, but they didn't move forward. Maybe now is a better time for them and it wasn't back then. So as far as our 5th secret, the last one is scaling your success. So with the selling sprees, how do we do this? How do we track this to make sure that we're doing it to the best of our ability? And the way that I like to do this is all of the secrets that we covered so far, the planning, the prep, the layering, all of the things. But then I realized we need to track what came out of this specific campaign. How many people did I reach out to? How many people did I have consultations with? How many people did I have DM conversations with? How many people did I send a proposal to? Or how many people did click the link to look at it? And then how many people purchased, and what was the total amount for that campaign? What did we bring in, right? So going back to say 2020, this is one of my favorite selling sprees that we've ever had. It was directly following a retreat that we had, and we had a lot of clients there. And Michelle and I did this together. we scheduled follow-up consultations during our selling spree window. And you will notice that we did not do an email campaign. We did not do any social media posts because we had done a retreat. So we just went straight to DMs and we were following up with our customers, our clients that were at the retreat to say, hey, loved seeing you at the retreat, Larissa. Did you have a chance to look at any of our offers or services coming up? Is that something you would want to talk more about? ? Send it. And then people would write back, oh no, I didn't have a chance to look at it yet. Or, hey, I looked at it, wasn't sure what to do. And we just moved people from that text into a consultation. And then we had several offers for them to choose from, specials, bonuses, things like that, combination offers, stuff like that people could pick from. And then we closed out all of those sales over a 2-week period. I would say that the majority of the sales was related to, it was the first time that we had launched our newest mastermind. This was a bit ago. We've been running a mastermind for a long time since, but it was amazing. And so if you can imagine, what if we didn't do that? What if we didn't have a selling spree? And let me tell you something else. That was the year, it was February that we had our selling spree. It was $250,000 in sales in 2 weeks. Guess what happened the next month? COVID, the pandemic hit. The next freaking month. So if we hadn't made all of those sales, like our whole entire business was turned upside down the following month. We had no idea what was happening. That month and that selling spree kept us going for an entire year. Like it gave us a base to count on, and it gave us a really good, strong start to the year. There have been 2 years that I remember, maybe even 3, from recent years that just passed, where we actually exceeded our entire previous year's revenue in the first 3 months of the year. And that is just something that is weirdly unique to our company. I don't know why we do it. It's wild every time we do it, but it usually is related to some kind of selling spree because there's a why now, right? Because it's a new year, because it's time to up-level your business, because aren't you wanting something more this year? Don't you want something different or better than you had last year? And so that has always been a very good why for us and also for our clients, because we want the best for our clients as well. So in that case, our why is the same. So the last thing I wanted to say about tracking and scaling your success is making a sales tracker. Let's say you have all of your marketing all put together, or maybe you're just going to go with DMs. Again, that's totally fine. Maybe we're going with DMs. We want to make an opportunity list. Who do we want to reach out to? Just make a nice list of people that you think are the right fit for your new offer, people you've worked with before or talked to and haven't moved forward, these types of people. And if they create a little sales pipeline for yourself. Okay, so this is a fake one. Just so everybody knows, I'm not showing you like anything real. This is in ClickUp. This is an app or a software that we use for a lot of our to-do lists, a lot of our client management stuff, a lot of our onboarding is done through ClickUp. And so I just want to show you how we set up this tracker so you can see how it works. So what we would do is we would create a sales opportunities list. And then inside of this list, I would go in, it's just a regular click. I would hit list settings. I would hit list statuses. And then this is where I would create the steps that I would walk someone through as far as this campaign is going. So someone replied to a text would be the first step. They said they're interested, right? The pricing or the proposal has been sent. Maybe if you have to do a consultation, you put another little guy right in there. The pricing of the proposal is sent. There's a follow-up and there's closed, okay? I'm going to just add this in so you can see how I did it. I'm going to hit add status. I'm going to say consultation. I happen to know that she will need a consultation for this pipeline, so I'm just adding something that needs to be there anyway. I'll make it green so it's pretty, and then I'm going to hit save. We also have a not interested one, which is a closed status, so I'm going to hit save. So that's real quick on how to do this. Now in my board, you have a list view, which is like how it looks as a list, and you can easily add an opportunity there or add something into your pipeline. You can change the status of it and put it in the right phase. And now if I look at it through a board view, which is something I really love about ClickUp, you can move people. So like these are just fake things. Like we put in our own names just so we could play with this little tracker that I was creating. Let's say this says Erica Powell replied to the text. Let's say she's interested. I can move her here. Let's say I sent the pricing for what that person wanted and I know how much it was. I can add it here in the card so I can see what that opportunity is worth, okay? Or what that sale might be, maybe. And let me go back here for a second because I'm OCD and I just noticed something. This would go here because our consultation would be first. Maybe we do, Savannah has a consultation, and then maybe we decide she's interested in a website. We'll just put a random number on it. I'll just say it's $8,000 randomly. And again, these are not real prices. I'm just popping things in here. And I do my consultation. We know it's worth $8,000. I can move her here, right? And then if people close, we can move them here. If they're not interested, we can move them there. Okay, just to give you an idea. And that's how I like to track our selling sprees. Either that or like a spreadsheet or a Google Doc, just something so that you can see where people are in this process and if they're interested or not, because otherwise you won't know who's ready for a follow-up. It's just nice to be able to see it organized and streamlined. And then I would say make sure you follow up with every person that you're having a conversation with until they close. Now, what does close mean? To me, it's a yes or a no. They're no, not interested, not for me, not now. Okay, they go into not interested, or yes, I'm in, send me the link, let's go. They pay their invoice, they sign their contract, they're good to go, they move into closed. And then what I really love about selling sprees is knowing that number at the end. I think that when Julie started implementing selling sprees into her business, her monthly sales before were around $10,000 to $12,000 per month. And once she started implementing the selling sprees, she was usually between $30,000 and $35,000 in sales per month, just to give you an idea. So that's tripling her sales just by doing this once a month. Now, will you guys have time to do this every single month? Maybe not. Will you want to do it once a year? Maybe. Could you do it quarterly? Might you want to do it just one time just to have a cash boost or just to give it a whirl? 100%. And then I would just say, as you're following up to a yes or a no, be polite, be professional, never be pushy. If you're in the Rich and Joyful Entrepreneur in our community, you can use our follow-up closing secrets to help walk people through to a yes or a no. That's just a bonus video that we have in there for all of you guys, and you know that thing is gold. So if you're in the Rich and Joyful Entrepreneur, make sure you use that. And in a nutshell, there you have it, is selling sprees. And I hope you guys loved it. So I will pass the mic back over to Larissa.
Wow, my goodness. This is amazing because you shared so many different secrets that are really behind the scenes that not everyone gets to really see, especially those who are first going into a selling spree and have no idea what the heck is going on. So Thank you so much, Erica, for doing it. And for anyone that's watching us on YouTube and would like to join our business building community, you can get backstage passes to all of our masterclasses. So you can join us live behind the scenes, ask our speakers questions about your business, plus get access to all of our bonuses and extras. So if you guys want to join, we'd love to have you guys as the newest tribe member. And if you guys have any questions about branding, website design, social media management, or coaching programs, just send us a DM on Instagram at Erica Powell & Co. Please leave a comment for us letting us know what were your biggest takeaways from this masterclass, because we honestly love to read them. We love to see them, and it gives us more feedback on what you guys would like to see more of in future masterclasses. So I know we have a couple of questions. I definitely have one, which is, how do you think that your selling sprees approach differs from traditional sales methods, especially in the context of luxury markets?
I love that question. And so what I would say is traditional sales methods or traditional sales pipelines or processes in a service business, especially a luxury service business, is usually there's no urgency, right? So people are finding you through your social media posts. They're finding you through your portfolio. They're finding you through your website, through your advertising outlets, but there's no reason for them to go ahead and move forward right now. And so in that, especially the more expensive your services are, like some of our clients have a $5,000, a $10,000, a $20,000, a $100,000, $200,000 service, they take their time, right? Clients who are going to pay $20, $50, $100K for a service or more, they're going to take their time. They're going to do their due diligence. They're going to look and research. They're going to talk to several of your competitors. And so I'm not saying that this negates any of that or removes that, but it does put a little bit of a timeline on it and a reason that they would want to move forward now. So for example, I had an amazing consultation with a client, loved her so much. I knew that we were the right fit for her, and I knew what I wanted her to buy would be exactly what she needed for her business. So I put an extra bonus on it, and I put a deadline saying, if you purchase this by this time, you will get this additional bonus. And I had put the bonus was attached to the medium price thing and the most expensive thing, but not the lower price things. So it anchored the value of the things that were more pricey and the things that were actually going to serve her more, because I know that our services, when people go with some of those services that are more in detailed or more done for you, that people will actually get better results. So I was incentivizing the right decision, and I was putting a timeline on it. Okay. So her first question back to me was, if I do this, do I get the bonus? And I'm like, okay, so it's working, right? She wants the bonus. It's a reason for why now. And now there's a timeline or a deadline, versus someone just reached out for any reason, wants what we offer, but there's no reason to buy it now. There's no reason to move forward today instead of tomorrow. There's no reason to move forward towards the end of this week versus next month. And so, of course, people are still going to shop. They're still going to do their due diligence. They're still going to do all those things. But if it's an offer that is a click to buy and they like it and they want it and it's a special, they're going to do it now, right? Like from one of my mentors and coaches, he posted one live on Instagram. It was a special for something that was $111. From one post, I went and bought the thing. So that happens. There was another one of my mentors and coaches. She posted something that was a $1,500 offer. It was a special bundle, a special time period. I immediately saw it and I immediately went to her link and clicked and bought it. Okay. So that is the main difference. I think with most service entrepreneurs, it's like this evergreen pipeline, but there's no urgency, no reason why now. There's no specialness around like March versus April or February versus January. So I think it just helps to differentiate and gives people a reason to invest.
I love that. And especially what you said, how clients, especially clients who pay a lot of money, will take a lot of their time. So they'll look at your social media, they'll look at who you are, they'll ask a lot of questions because they know that they're going to be investing in a service, and you just don't know if what their services is for you. So it's good to ask questions and just to really see who would understand your business, and also building that trust. So this actually leads into my next question, which is, what types of strategies do you recommend for building trust and credibility with high-end clients, especially for entrepreneurs who are either new to the luxury market or just don't know what it's like?
Building trust. That's an awesome question. So first of all, between things like selling sprees, we have to show up, right? And so it's not just a matter of posting portfolio items, because a lot of our clients, since they're service providers and they're luxury service providers, they in a way hide behind their portfolio. And they're like, if I just put my work out there, people are going to see it. They're going to fall in love. They're going to inquire. Guess what? Hate to tell you, but there's a lot of other really talented people out there that have different work and that also have amazing portfolios. And so that is not a way to build trust or differentiate yourself. Maybe thinking about, okay, we talked about this inside of this masterclass a little bit, but where are people right now? Say they're looking for a luxury floral designer and they want to design this incredible event. Where are they now? We're going to talk about the process of choosing a floral designer. And maybe we're not talking about choosing us. We're talking about, how do you decide who is the floral designer for you? Or we might think about, okay, they are maybe stressing out about the details a little bit, or they're not sure if what they've chosen is going to be the right fit for their day. So maybe we do a post about designing your wedding. Here are some tips to follow if you want to make sure that you're going to be able to take your vision to reality and design the event of your dreams. And so this is what builds trust, actually, not just a portfolio. Of course, we want people to trust our work. We want them to see our portfolio. And this is really funny because Larissa and I work on our Instagram together. We're like a team with it, and we do it together. And I said to Larissa a couple months ago that we rarely get inquiries through Instagram. Like most of the time, their referrals are coming from our email list, or it's a selling spree, or they come to a retreat, or they join a program and then they up level into other things. And so we actually made the decision to change where our portfolio was on our Instagram feed. We moved it out of the feed itself for the most part and kept that very minimal. And we're moving it into the highlights. And we just started doing more polarizing posts more talking about like our mindset, talking about our world and what's different about our world. And wouldn't you know it, we had an inquiry immediately come out as soon as we switched our method to come through and want to work with us on something that we didn't even show. So I think that's really important to note. I would not recommend removing your portfolio for most service providers, especially our clients. I think you need to do a combination of both. But just, I think trust comes from things like that, helping people through their decision, meeting them where they're at, sharing why to do something, how to do something. And if we're a luxury service provider, I want to be very clear. We're not like how to DIY your own wedding design. That's not what we're talking about. We're like how to create your dream centerpiece. Here's step-by-step how to do it. It's how to decide what centerpiece you want, right? So that they know they're coming to us for that, and we're just helping guide them through it. Or the other way to build trust is to show up on camera, which I know a lot of our clients are hesitant to do, or maybe have never done, or are just not so interested in it. As an introvert, I get it. Like, I am not a person to love to show up on camera. This is something that I've done a lot of work on. And the more and more I do it, the more comfortable I get. But even if you don't want to show your face, maybe doing a reel with some of your work and a voiceover is a good way to bridge the gap or try something new. I think people need to know why you look at things the way you do. What's different about the way you do things? Why did you design that like that? What's the reason why you have this program? What is the vibe of the program that you have? These are the types of things I'm just going back and forth between coaching and service providers because we work with both. But I think these are the things that make us stand out. And this is the in-between of the selling sprees. This is the way we show up between the selling sprees. And when we do that, then we're going to build trust in our audience so that when we do something like a selling spree, we're doing it for people that already trust us and already know that we know what we're talking about and that we have a different way of doing things.
And what you said about the things that make you stand out, some of our speakers have touched on this in masterclasses where it's your genuineness. So when people would post all the time, hey, I'm selling this, I have this program. If people consistently see you always trying to sell something, they're going to associate that with your brand and say, oh, the next email I get from this person is always going to be about selling something, rather than it being, hey, this is actually informational for me. This is helpful for my business. I know Erica, her brand is to always talk about mindset, moving, taking action, being genuine. When they see that and they see those emails, they'll know that you're creating a program for them and there's a reason behind that. So I really love what you said about standing out.
Yeah. And as far as email, I've also learned, because that's an evolving thing. It takes time to work on it. It's something that we're still working on ourselves. You can always improve when it comes to having an email list or serving an email list. And so one of the things that we've been doing recently is finding ways to do free things in between our offers. So like, did we do a YouTube video that we think would be valuable for our audience? Or did we have a free training somewhere? And adding those in between is a really great way to build trust and then build the relationship so that people don't think every email they're getting from us is something that we're selling. Related to that, if we're going to do a selling spree, that's how we started this whole conversation, is the why for the client. So just because it's a selling spree and I'm excited to boost our business, I'm also selling something that's of value to our client and giving them a bonus or an extra or a special or something like that. So in that way, making sure that we're adding value to when we are selling or giving someone an opportunity to buy something, I think is really important as well.
And that is really leading up to building that trust and then having people invest, because when people invest their money in you, they're trusting you fully with not just their money, but the way that you will help them throughout their business and the services that you provide to them. I have a comment from Paula here who said, so much great information. Thank you so much, Paula, for leaving a comment. We have another question here, and this one is more about sales call process. What is your sales call process like when you take a follow-up conversation or inquiry to a close?
Okay, I know you want to ask me this question. Okay. So I actually have about maybe 3 to 5 videos about this, specifically dedicated to this inside of the Rich and Joyful Entrepreneur, that walks through it step by step, the whole process from mindset to exactly what to say to how to follow up, all of these things. It's a very deep topic. I could probably talk about it for days, but to put it in a nutshell, my sales process and the way that most of our clients do a sales process when it's a high ticket service. So we're talking about, I'm going to say a minimum investment of $3,000, right? So it could be a service starting at $3,000. It could be 5, 10, 20, 50, 100K, 250K investment from your client into your business. That's when we're going to want to have a sales process. I have also found that if an item is a click to buy, it may struggle at more than $2,000 unless you have a very trusting audience or like a deep connection that you've built, a relationship we've built with your audience over a long time. It's hard to launch something that's $1,500, $2,000-ish without a sales call. I'm not saying it can't be done. If you have a relationship with your audience, they've maybe bought things from you before, they have been enrolled in things that you've done before, or their previous client, any of these things, they may be able to click to buy at that price point. But really now we're talking about those 3K plus offers. Usually the flow would go something like an application, which we highly recommend, that they're inquiring about your services. We're collecting the information that we need to know in order to pre-qualify, to know whether that client is a fit for us before we go to schedule the call. Some of our clients do click here to schedule your consult, and then after the person picks the date and time, then they put in their information in more of a questionnaire format. But you want to have that information before you get on the call. You want to know if somebody's going to be the right fit for you or not before you get on the call. You want to have an idea of what their price point is for the project that you'll be working on, all of these things. So we have very specific ways that we do that, ways that we ask that, questions that we ask, and then going from there into the consultation. It depends on the business. But usually I recommend doing a couple get to know you questions or just relationship building questions. They might be on the more personal side, like maybe 2 to 3 upfront, then some information gathering questions, stuff that you'll need to know in order to create a proposal, stuff that you'll need to know in order to guide them towards the right services of yours. And then there are some sort of magic questions that I like to ask. One is for service entrepreneurs. Let's say it's Paula. She could say something like, how do you envision working with your travel consultant? That's an amazingly powerful question to ask on a sales consultation, because you're going to hear from that person how they envision working with someone like you. And if they're like, I just want to send you a million ideas and I just want you to sort through them and I want you to get like 40 quotes, then you're going to know, okay, this person is not really probably a good fit for me. Their expectations are not in alignment with the way I like to serve. So that's what I would call like a magic question. And then for coaches, the magic question is based on what you've seen and know about us already. You can use this for service or coach. These are both and you can use them both if you want. But based on what you already know about us, what you've seen online or what you've heard, like, why do you think that we would be the right fit for working together? And I love that. That's one of my favorite magic questions, because they're going to tell you why you. They're actually going to sell themselves on you. And then usually I go from there into, would you like to hear about what I think might be the right steps for moving forward or working together? If we have predefined collections, we can review them over the phone. If we have to do a custom proposal, we can tell them our process for doing that, how long it's going to take. Then from there, we have two options. We can either review the proposal live or on a second call, or we can send the proposal and then do follow-up. And then from there, the follow-up. But all of the details and like how to exactly do that are all inside of the Rich and Joyful Entrepreneur in the blueprint in a nutshell. If you want me to make it a 5-second answer, that's as fast as I could do it.
And I love what you said, and especially how you get into detail, because there's so many things like behind the scenes that you talked about in today's masterclass that I thought was really important. So I wanted to hone in on a couple of those things. So you talked about pricing. How do you come up with the initial premium pricing of an offer that you have? And how do you balance the price with putting on your client goggles and thinking, how valuable is this for the client to match with the price that I'm giving for this offer?
That is the best question. That is probably my favorite question that you've ever asked. So I like to look at it from both perspectives. Both mine is, what do I want to offer? How do I want to serve this person? What do they actually need, even if they don't know they need it? And then there's this other set of client glasses where they're thinking maybe they don't know they need it, or maybe they could get it somewhere else for less, or maybe they think they only need this, right? I think we have to think about it from both perspectives when we're coming up with a price. And we had a nice conversation in our mastermind, I would say, I think it was last week, where we were talking about having two different types of offers or collections. One that is like an easy yes collection where people are like, I see the value, I get it, I want it, right? So in our world with like branding and website design, we have an easy yes offer that makes sense for people who are maybe either starting out in business or they don't have the funds for like our platinum portfolio website and like all the bells and whistles and things like that. It's easy yes. It's a great value. And it's also been really carefully thought of what's included in that to help make sure that someone's going to get the results, but maybe they're at a limited price point. Maybe they can't afford the top of the top at this moment. But then I like to have a couple upgrade options so that let's say somebody buys that Easy Yes collection, maybe they want to add an upgrade in 6 months, or maybe they want to add something in 3 months down the line. I make sure that it's really clear that they can add those things at any time or make changes. Then you've got like our very high end, like top of the market type of things where someone will come to us and they'll want everything we offer for $50K, $70K, $150K. And those are custom built proposals where I have to really think about what does this person actually need to get the results that they're asking me for. Here are all the pieces. Like recently I did a 12-page proposal. Craziness. Like I don't do that every day, but this person wanted like 150,000 worth of services from us. So I took the time to outline it, the timing, all of those things. And that person actually said to me, I already knew before I even know what you did, before I knew how much your proposal would be, I already knew I wanted to work with you just from when you walked in the room, right? So there's a lot that goes into that. This is something we've been doing for a long time. We are experts in what we do. And so I will walk into a room and I'm not going to be intimidated by someone at the top of their industry. I'm comfortable in that space. And so I think for our highest end clients, they already sense that I'm not nervous to talk to them, right? And so that's something that has taken me years to be able to do. It's not something that you can just come out of the box knowing how to show up in a room like that or charge like that much for services. It's just something that evolved over time. I would say you have to look at it from both angles. And I think that one of the keys to our success in the last few years is making sure that we have offers at different price points for different people, depending on where they are in their journey. And as I was talking to our mastermind clients last week, I was saying, even if you have an easy yes offer, even if it is a no-brainer yes and it's a low price point, you just want to make sure that you're winning and that you're profitable even at the easy yes price point. The easy yes offers is we just make sure that we remove anything that's unnecessary, that we take out anything that is going to take more time or is going to be something that the person doesn't need. And we just give them exactly what they need in order to get their results. So hopefully that answers your question. I know it's a long answer.
Oh, no, that was perfect. And exactly, you said the thought that goes into making these proposals and also analyzing and assessing what people actually need. There's a lot that goes into it.
I would love to add just for a second too. I was very impressed by some of our mastermind members last week. Like they had already shopped their own competition. They had spreadsheets knowing what other people were charging because there's two things. One, it's important to know what people are doing if they have similar services to yours. It's also important to know that there is nobody like you. So we know what makes us unique and different from other people who have services like us. It's important to know both of those things. So I think knowledge is power. I'm not saying that you should check your competitors' pricing like every 5 seconds, but I would say when you're in the place of trying to decide pricing, you should be at least aware of what's going on in the market. My easy yes offers are like competitive with what other people in the marketplace are charging. And our top of the line, most like high touch experiences that are very pricey to do, I know there is actually no competitor at that price point. Because the reason why somebody's going to come to me versus someone else is from my unique experience, my background, the things that I can bring to the table that nobody else can.
Thank you so much, Erica. It's amazing just how much we've learned in this short period of time. And I just want to thank you so much for coming on for another masterclass and teaching all your goodness.
And thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, Larissa, for hosting as well.
No worries. Have a wonderful day, guys, and see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Bye, guys.